Hey, everybody, welcome to a special Friday night cup of Ray. Special. It's a bit self-serving, isn't it? I just realized, man, hasn't shaved since the Bucks lost last Sunday to the Los Angeles Rams in a divisional walk-on round, divisional playoff game. Have you all heard the news yet? Of course, hearing it, saw it reported here on Bucks Report tonight. Jason LaCanfora of CBS Sports is reporting that Tom Brady will be announcing his retirement, or his retirement announcement within the next 2 days is imminent. I am actually on someone else's StreamYard tonight, so I don't have my usual cup of Ray opening. So we're going with a cold opening. I started trying to get in here, and I was going to upload it, and I want to develop it. And I was like, no, news like this, that's been the talk of the season. And since Tom retires, is Tom going to come back? And of course, again, Jason LaCanfora of CBS News Sports is reporting tonight that Tom Brady's retirement is imminent and could come in the next 2 days. Which, to me, guys, please comment in here. I really want to know what you guys are thinking about this, because I'll be honest with you. I looked at our schedule today, and I'm looking at the Buccaneers' opponents next year in 2022, and I see the Kansas City Chiefs coming here. I saw the Los Angeles Rams again coming here, and of course Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals coming here. And the Buccaneers will be visiting out there into San Francisco to play those 49ers. Of course, that's a home game for Tom, him and his family from San Mateo. And I thought, you know what? There's no way this cat's going to retire. There's no way he can do it. I know it. And I was the one who took heat before the season, guys and girls, from everyone at Bucks Report. I said that I believed, after watching everything and dissecting everything I knew about Tom Brady and the spiritual cat that he is, and the family and the love, and the fact that he wants to be there for his kids, and he talks about giving back to Giselle for her making the sacrifices that she has for him to have his career, great 21 career in the NFL. But I said there's no way that cat can not come back. But I said that I thought he could walk away. That was before the season starts. And then we saw the way it went down with the Bucks losing to the Rams in a divisional playoff game last weekend. And of course, you'll see the championship game this weekend. So what's your comments? Let's get the comments going right in here, because I love you guys coming in. Josh Klein says Brady ain't retiring. Again, Josh, I thought the same thing, especially after looking at that schedule today. I'm thinking that the Buccaneers are going to do everything to put a team around him. Now, one of my topics for tonight was going to be, would you guys, Buccaneer fans, would you be willing to want to see the Bucks go into cap hell to try to put the best around? Because the Buccaneers, Jason Light's been doing this since 2014, when his first draft overall pick was Mike Evans out of the Texas Longhorns. He's been putting together a good team, and of course the secondary was a big one of what they wanted to work on here. Took them a minute or two under Dirk Cotter when Jameis Winston was the quarterback, throwing what would end up being more interceptions. Let me see, Eric Moreno says Brady will come back, right, Rat? Right, Brad. Eric Moreno says Ray. Oh, no, brother. Yeah, I got you. You know what, Eric? I thought the same thing. But again, Eric LaCanfora, that's the breaking news tonight. You saw it on Bucks Report. Eric LaCanfora is reporting that Tom Brady's announcement of retirement is imminent and should come in as early as the next 2 days. Ben Parrish says, I don't think he is. I believe in Tom. And we're feeling that, right? I thought we'd hear something this week. Had no problem with Tom taking the time to announce. And Gronk, of course, says if you asked him right after the season ends, he just said he's not coming back. Yaj in here on a Friday night. Don't believe it until he says it. Again, Yaj, I believe it too. And I'm not going to go ahead. Really, Eric LaCanfora of CBS Sports getting to run. I've already mentioned his name 5 times in the last 5 minutes. But, these creditable sources, they don't get that way if they're dropping, bits and pieces, or like some other sources, unlike Bucks Report, where we will always source things out before we announce it. But you got these guys out here, some people that'll chase it just for lead, just for clickbait. Eric LaCanfora is not like that. CBS Sports isn't usually like that. So a little more credibility behind it has Buccaneer fans wondering, has the entire NFL world, the entire football world wondering if there's some substance behind this, that there'll be an announcement on Tom Brady's retirement in the next 2 days. Nikki Statches in here says, if Brady really retires, I say thank you to him and everything he's done. Nikki, I couldn't agree with you 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. The fact that he comes in here, and of course, Jason Light, Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles, Byron Leftwich, they were already Harold Godwin, Kevin Garver, the wide receivers coach, who some have formulated maybe, or some have postured maybe would be an offensive coordinator for Byron Leftwich should the Jacksonville Jaguars finally getting around and announcing the hiring of that cat. But there was already a cultural shift going on here. Of course, back when Lovie Smith drafts Jameis Winston in 2015, of course, Dirk Cotter, there was rumors they were hot in pursuit of him as an offensive coordinator. So Lovie Smith not retained, and Dirk Cotter gets the job to continue the development of Jameis Winston. And of course, in 2019, Bruce Arians comes in and continues that development. Of course, Jameis showed that he could throw for over 5,000 yards and over 30 touchdowns, but he also showed he could throw for 30 interceptions. We'll talk about that another night. Thank you, Nikki. Gabo Cardana says, no way that was his last game. I think that's the way a lot of Buccaneer fans are feeling in here on a Friday night, Gabo. Mike Davis says he isn't going to retire. We're going to see. We're going to talk about this. Thank you for your comments, and keep them coming, guys and girls. Jason Hughes says he's not retiring. If he does, I'll be appreciative for everything he's did for this organization in this city. 100%. Don't forget, the entire world, the entire NFL world. I'm live here at Ferg's, the world famous Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill here on Central Avenue in the Edge District of St. Pete, just below 16th Street. I'll be down here again tomorrow on the radio with Mike Rickard of St. Petersburg Sports Connection. We do a live show on Saturdays from down here. But I think the entire world owes Tom Brady a thank you. And the Buccaneers organization, for that matter, because while we were going, and everybody was going through this pandemic, it was worldwide. And we needed stuff to take. Of course, go back. Remember, we were watching table tennis and cornhole. No offense to cornhole. I like cornhole. I played it last week over at the Raymond James Stadium there at the Leatherheads tailgate party. But fact of the matter is that what the Buccaneers did in 2020 not only took an entire world's mind off of COVID and everything that was going on with the world pandemic, and we're still getting to that better place, right, guys and girls? But the entire world owes Tom a thank you, but Buccaneer fans especially, because he's our cat. He brought this organization their second championship in Buccaneer history. So 100% agree with you, Jason. Eric Bennett says Brady to San Francisco, and we aquifer. I'm not sure what you mean. It's a Friday night. It's not after 10 o'clock, so I'll still keep it a little bit clean. Ryan Watkins says go after Watson or trade Godwin and a pick. We'll get there. Let's work through this first. Let's all be here for each other here on a Friday night. Cup of Ray here on Bucks Report. David Hush says, unfortunately, think he's retiring. I believe that may be the possibility. John McCloskey in here says, I don't think he'll leave this team in a bad spot. And again, John, excuse me for a second. I worked tonight hard. It was a hard day like we all had, right? It's Friday night. It's all unwind a little bit. Is it really a bad spot, John? I mean, he's got to do what's best for his family. He's got to do what's best for Giselle and the kids. Jack's going into high school. Kids aren't getting any younger. And I can tell you as myself, I got a 20-year-old, a 13-year-old, an 11-year-old at home. They're growing up. Don't want to miss a thing. Want to be there. If Jack plays high school football next season, saw him last time we saw Jack, he was over here at Buccaneers camp, as a ball boy this last summer, having a great time. I don't think that any question that Tom's able to involve the kids in his life as much as possible. Great dad, great guy, good human being. But what if Jack plays high school football? Just for example, he's got a Friday night game. What if he's playing JV? He's a freshman this year. We'd like to say, well, Tom's the greatest of all time. He can get on a Learjet. He can make it up there and be there. That's not the way it works. That's not the way Tom Brady works. That's not the way Tom Brady is wired. He's all in. He's all in or not in at all. And he has to be that way. You don't get to be the greatest of all time. I think Tom will be the first to tell you that if his heart's not in it, if the competitiveness is not in it, if he can't be the Tom Brady that we've come to know and love in his entire career since he was 199th pick in the 6th round out of Michigan in 2000, I think he'd be the first to tell you that he can't do it halfway. There's some quarterbacks in there. I'll give it to Tom. Hats off to you, because there's been quarterbacks. We've seen it time and time again. Quarterbacks that can mail it in for the last couple of years to collect that paycheck probably would be even happy holding a clipboard. That's not the way Tom Brady's wired. We wouldn't want to see it. So I don't think so much of me leaving him in a bad spot, John, but that remains to be seen. Rusty Mitchell, Rusty brother. Mike Evans, not a Longhorn. He's from Texas A&M. He's oh my God, Rusty, you're so right. I don't know, and I always say because Mike Evans basically made Johnny Manziel who he was. But thank you for pointing that out. Again, I got rushed down here. Had to get on talking about this breaking news again. If you're just joining us here for a Friday night cup of break, Jason La Canfora of CBS Sports is retiring. The retirement of Tom Brady, announcement of Tom Brady's retirement is imminent within the next 2 days. We'll see. Travis Bartell says, I won't believe it until we hear it. Okay, I tend to agree with that, because I don't think, a week from now, a month from now, going into the season, if Tom comes back and says, no, I was never going to retire, wherever the sources are, whatever looking for his sources are, and I don't think John wants to toy. I don't think Tom Brady's going to toy with the emotions of Buccaneer fans or the NFL, because he takes it way too seriously, and he takes way too much pride in being the gentleman that he is. But I'm not going to believe it probably till I hear it as well. Ben Parrish says, what's up, Ray? Good evening, Ben. Thank you for being in here, brother. Ben's one of my best. I appreciate you so much. William Romer says his retirement decision is imminent, not his retirement. Boom. Okay, William, I was waiting for someone to say this, because we saw it with Drew Brees. I mean, even though Drew Brees officially announced, and we saw it with Ben Roethlisberger in 2021, kind of officially announced, if not officially, but, there were ways we kind of knew, the entire NFL world knew that that was Drew Brees' last game when Tom Brady and the Buccaneers defeat the Saints in the divisional round of the 2020 playoffs to advance to the championship game in Green Bay. Knew that Ben Roethlisberger was going to hang him up, although he doesn't officially announce until this week. And by the way, don't we love the way Ben Roethlisberger announces? Doesn't need the press conference, and we're still getting to that completely socially distanced or better and safer place. I know we're tired of that narrative, guys and girls, but got to keep our eyes on the prize. But Ben Roethlisberger drops a tweet, drops a video, thanks all the fans of Pittsburgh this week. Troy Davis says, please come back, Tom. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of that going on, especially if we do hear this ends up being, being backed up at some point or another. Eric Bennett says, we get Garoppolo in return. Okay, so there's your trade. Yeah, I mean, Trey Lance, the Niners. I mean, if Garoppolo, still think those Niners have a shot this week against those Rams. They match up well against them, and I like the Cincinnati Bengals against the Chiefs. They beat them just in the last week of the season. And the Chiefs are still a phenomenal team. They've really been coming on, but the Bengals were the last team to beat them. So I think that you could see a Bengals-Niners Super Bowl, which takes us way back to what? Ickey Woods, Boomer Esiason, Coach Sam Weiss, who also coached for your Buccaneers, who's passed on, now watches from the great luxury box in the sky. And Nikki says again this. Okay, Nikki. Alex Schomburg, in Trask we trust. Misador was talking with me today. We were going back and forth a little bit about that. He didn't suit up at all for a game this season. I posed that you had Blaine Gabbert there backing up Tom Brady, and Blaine Gabbert was his 7th year in this system. Even if let's just go ahead and pose this for a second if we're going to speculate. Even if Tom Brady does end up retiring, he does announce he's going to spend that time with the family, be there as a father or for his children, and hasn't that cat earned it? We could talk about the repercussions another day. But you still got Blaine Gabbert, 7 years, first-round pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars, going way back to 2000, whatever. And the fact of the matter is, he's had 7 years in this system that Coach Arians developed with Ben Roethlisberger with the Steelers way back when. And whether Byron Leftwich is, again, hired by those Jacksonville Jaguars, they're going to continue moving on with this system. I pose that if that's the situation, you should have a competition in camp, because Kyle Trask had a full year on his team, practicing every day, going to camp, being there next to Tom, learning the intricacies and nuances of being a phenomenal quarterback at the National Football League level. You've also got a Blaine Gabbert, who I've actually posed before, going back to 2019, was balling in the preseason. I know, don't persecute me. But and then he ends up getting a broken collarbone and sitting out the entire season. You had Brian Griffin and you had Jameis Winston. But I posed that even though you had, because we end up blowing after the season, Coach Arians talks about going what's behind door number 2. And I would pose that Blaine Gabbert could have been that door number 2 at some point or another. I'm not saying that that's the condition or the exact thing going into 2022, but that remains to be seen. Alberto Rios says, if he retires, half the people drop their season passes. Crazy. Nobody would even go to football games. I don't agree. Bucks were trending way up, way before Tom Brady. I mean, of course, then there was the pandemic, and then nobody could go because, they had the NFL had to practice social distancing and all. But fact of the matter is, Jason Light was putting together a phenomenal team with Mike Evans, the Aggie, not the Longhorn, but Jason Light was putting together a great team here and starting to put all the pieces in place. And the Bucks were trending up, and you were starting to see the crowds coming out. And I would pose that I've always said it wasn't right to call people bandwagon fans, because of the fact of the matter is we have a huge amount of millions of Bucks fans worldwide. Maybe not millions, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Bucks fans. Being a Bucks fan myself since 1976, I saw 77,000 or 72,000 pack into the old big sombrero back in the day for the Buccaneers in 79 when they went from worst to first. And it wasn't like they just all died, got old, or moved away. The fact of the matter is Buck fans are there. And if you're talking about a regression because of a Tom Brady not being here, then that's when you start to go, well, maybe it's okay to get rid of some of that excess bandwagon, because truth of the matter is, those of you guys and girls and kids out there on a Friday night before 10 p.m., so we're keeping it safe for work a little bit, they've been out to a Bucks game. You want the team to win. You love your chances with Tom Brady. You love the fact that, let's be honest, the Bucks almost got back in that game, but that was more because the Rams were getting us back in that game. But Tom still brought us back, had a huge, nice pass to Mike Evans there and got that score close. But the Rams beat us. Rams beat us good. And I still pose that going into 2022, Tom is still 0-4 in the regular season against those Saints. Of course, 1-1 last year when it count, again, going back to Drew Brees' last game. But you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cincinnati Bengals, the LA Rams coming to Raymond James next season, and the Buccaneers going out to play against those 49ers. All the arrows pointed to me to Tom coming back. But Again, if you're just joining us again, I'm going to cover it. Jason Lockenfora of CBS Sports is reporting tonight that Tom Brady's retirement announcement is imminent. We'll see. Alex Schumber says, thank you, Tom Brady. These last 2 seasons were amazing, Alec, 100%, brother. Alberto Rios, and I'm fine with that. All those fake fans can go. I think we were just covering that, weren't we, Alec? Dustin Lang says, Tom Brady called us up and was like, hey, y'all want to do the Super Bowl or what? I love it. Dustin, great comment. Love it. Joshua Manuel Bostic says, Jesse Browder. Okay. And Debbie Cohn says, them the haters win. Barry Gould says, I have no doubt that he'll retire as a Patriot, but he will be in our hearts, in our Ring of Honor. Got to be in a Ring of Honor, not because he led him to the Super Bowl, but because he came in here and continued that cultural shift and did drop the Super Bowl. He's the greatest of all time. You know, the entire major, and I'm not going to go there. I was going to say there's certain players that transcend teams, right? Because there's a Tom Brady fan in every city in the NFL, in every city in the United States, and any city that likes the NFL, there are Tom Brady fans for what this guy meant. Again, coming out in the 6th round, right, 199th overall there in 2000. Bill Belichick even was getting a little bit of grief. Of course, Jason Light was in the room when the Patriots draft. They just re-signed Drew Bledsoe to like one of the first $100 million contracts for a quarterback. So the last thing the Patriots brass are thinking about is a quarterback. But they bring in this guy from this kid, from this showed leadership at Michigan under Lloyd Carr, showed that he could do this. But they bring him in there in New England, and the rest is history. We could talk about it all night. I'm not going to go there. But again, just getting your comments here on a Friday night. With, again, the news being reported by Jason Lockenfora. You saw it on Bucks Report first. I saw it on Bucks Report first, that he's announcing that Tom Brady's retirement is. If you haven't checked it out, please go over to Bucks Report. Check out that article. It's a short read, but that's how we do with breaking news. We source it, we second source it, then we bring it to you. Jeff Goodall says, Mike D. Davis accepted, Bub. He's done. Giselle, put that. Okay. Hey, it's a Friday night. Joshua Manuel Bostic says, Jesse Browder. Do you got something going on with Jesse? What's Jesse got going on? Is Jesse a cool cat? Because I don't know the name Jesse Browder, but hey, if you want to vouch for him, Joshua, then hey, let's talk about Jesse being a cool cat. Pamela White says, if Brady retires, my hat's off to him. I'd like to keep him on the team in some capacity. And this is what I was thinking too. What if Tom did retire? But again, he still has Jack. Of course, Jack. He's living in New York. They're going into high school this year, and Tom would still want to be with the family out there in Los Angeles because he also has a production company. As you saw, if you have watched The Man in the Arena, and some of the things Tom Brady's been able to start doing, and the TB12 brand going strong, continues to go strong. And that's one of the things. It's funny because as much as I think of Tom Brady being always, of course, he's going to retire as a Patriot, being tied to the Buccaneers for the phenomenal 2 years he brought in, came in here and did for the team and showed what the greatest of all time was all about. And I always talked about it. It was like kind of catching the tail of a comet or a shooting star. Sure, it's fleeting, but at the same time, anyway, you know what? Hold on one second. So anyway, talking about the fact that the TB12 brand almost feels more to do with the Tampa Bay area because it's Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, 12. Of course, 12 for me was always Doug Williams, and then it was Trent Dilfer, and it's been worn over this 47 years with the Buccaneers. But I guess Tom's going to own that number 12. I mean, the Buccaneers aren't going to retire the number 12 here in Tampa Bay, but definitely maybe I don't know. Maybe y'all want to argue on a Friday night the Buccaneers will retire the number 12 here in Tampa Bay, but definitely the Buccaneers Ring of Honor because, these are the moments Buccaneer fans will be remembering for generations to come. And I've said this before, for generations, we'll talk about this. Alexander Gallardo says he's not going anywhere. Tyler Quinn says, if he retires, do we get an A? Do we get A? Okay, we get an A. We didn't get an A for that last loss against those Los Angeles Rams, but Nikki Strassia says, Fergs, Lakewood High Hangout. Yeah, Nikki, they got 4 bands on here tonight. 4, and they're heavy bands. Right now, the roadies they're setting up for the next band, and I'm like, and Quinn, the manager, thanks for letting me come out here to the Fergs, world famous Ferg Sports Bar and Grill on a Friday night. So I'm like, hey, we got some breaking news here. I got to bring it out here. And he's like, I'll go find your place, Ray. I got you. Ben Cornett says, what's wrong with table tennis, Ray? Geez, no, nothing's wrong with it. But what I'm saying is Ben, at one point, the world was so, and remember, go back to 2020, and you had Tom and Tiger, and you had Peyton Manning, and you had Phil Mickelson, and you had the tournament going on there. Just a phenomenal thing. You got Charles Barkley sees Tom Brady running in the rain. Of course, that was a big thing we're worrying about. Don't get hurt playing golf in the rain. The weather was terrible that weekend. And you got Charles Barkley sees Tom Brady running sprints. Of course, he hadn't even yet reported. I think he had. I don't even think he had that where he. I think maybe he had gone into the wrong house looking for the playbook at Byron Leftwich's house. But Charles Barkley's like, "What the heck are you doing, Tom Brady?" And he goes, "Trying to win a championship." And then, for that reason alone, that he said trying to win a championship, and it comes to fruition, memorable in the end for forever in the history of your Buccaneers. I got somebody here I'm going to bring in. I got someone in the studio. You guys know him from Buck AF on Tuesday nights. Also, he was on the post-game show with Dave Whitescarver. Let's go and welcome to the Cup of Ray here on a Friday night. Rick, it's okay, Rick. You're going to be okay, my friend. How are you?
No, I'm all out of focus. See, look at this. I'm so upset I'm out of focus.
That's okay. You look good to me, brother. So, you were one of the guys. No, you weren't. It was Johnny Dean. But we talked about this, and I'm not trying to pump myself, but I said going into this season, I thought there was a real chance that win or lose, that this could be TB's last season.
Here's the deal. Right now, we got one guy who's literally the entire thing that what he has said. One guy has said he hasn't talked to Brady. Here's the deal. I think a decision is imminent, and people around him think he's probably going to retire. That's literally it. Okay. He hasn't said Brady is going to retire. He didn't say Brady's going to retire. He said a decision is imminent, and people around him say they think he's probably going to retire. And you know how it is where everybody tries to get clicks and everything blows up and and all that. Look, he may retire. Okay. There's probably a good shot he's going to retire, but nobody local is saying anything about this. Nobody in any way connected to the Buccaneers seems to know anything about this. Ian Rappaport's not talking. None of those guys are saying. Adam Schefter's not saying anything. So
right.
All that I am saying is maybe let's wait.
Yeah, I tell you what, dude, we had a great comment. Maybe you had a chance to catch it. I don't know, but I want to go back. I want to give this guy props. But basically, they said that it could be an announcement in the next 2 days that he's going to retire after the 2022 season, and that may be the case because Tom Brady has never marched to the beat of anyone's drum but Tom Brady's.
Right, and that's why I'm just I'm not saying he's not retiring. Okay,
all right,
he may be retiring. I'm just saying right now, I need more info. I need more info before we write the epitaph, before we, go through the whole, look, he's tired. I'm sure, all players say they feel like retiring at the end of the year and then give him a few weeks. Look, I have no idea. The other day when I ran into Tom now at Wawa, he was telling me, none of us know. Okay. None of us have any clue. And Jason LaCanfora is trying to get some clicks, and he's trying to get ahead of the story and take a flyer on it. And he hedged his bets so that all he has to do is say, if Brady comes out and says, no, I'm not retiring, LaCanfora can say, see, I told you a decision was imminent.
Right.
I mean, he's literally put himself to where he's either the one breaking the news or he was right all along that, the people around him were saying that and a decision was imminent. So,
well, I guess this is also, of course, coming down from, our Brass and Bucks report that basically the quote is they do believe he's played his final football game. There are a multitude of people close to him who are under that impression. And, of course, Jason LaCanfora says Tom Brady's retirement decision is coming soon, which,
who said that?
That was, I don't know who that quote was from, but I got that from the dude. So, that, and it's in quotation marks. So somebody said
Jason LaCanfora thing. I think that's
right. So he says they do believe he's, and here's the thing, those close to him. I mean, you know what? If Alex Guerrero didn't say it, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. I'm kidding.
It's my point. I mean, it's those close to him are saying they think he's played his last game.
Right.
Okay. I mean, remember when Brady said half the stuff he says to the media is a lie anyway? I mean,
hello. Yes.
Right. So all that I'm saying is, okay, if so, David Whitescarver, got to give the guy props. David Whitescarver said, if that was Jameis's last game. There are only 2 words that should come out of Bucks fans' mouths, and that is "thank you." And
Yes, I remember. I heard him say that, and he
yeah,
was 100% correct. I'll tell
yeah,
you what. One thing we do know, Tom's gotten really great at the production. Lord knows the cat can put things up to a drama level. I can't wait to see the next man in the arena. I'm praying that there is another one. But we know that he's never been one to. He's not gonna put rumors out there to feel how
right,
the fans feel. He doesn't want to know. He knows how we feel. We
right.
realize you don't call a cat the greatest of all time and then sit back and wait for the baby goat Patrick Mahomes. I kid you. I just because we've had that talk
You know,
before.
I hate that. Yeah,
I know you do, but we all. And the thing about it is that I can say how great Joe Burrow is going to be. I can tell you how
right.
great I can tell Trevor Lawrence is going to rock when if
That I
Byron
don't know
Leftwich
about.
gets there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the thing about it is that I think we all agree. I'd be so happy if I'm wrong with this, and even if I'm maybe happier if it's a Buccaneer, but I think we can all agree that if we don't see Tom Brady again on a football field as a quarterback, starting quarterback, whether it be for the Bucs or anyone else, we've all had a chance to see up close and personal
yeah.
the greatest of all time.
Forever, we're gonna have a Super Bowl with Tom Brady as our quarterback. Think about that.
Hello.
And
Yes.
and my greatest disappointment if he retires is simply he's never going to wear the creamsicle uniform. And that's the thing I
Yes.
wanted. I wanted to watch that dude play one game in a creamsicle uniform just to, that just would have been awesome. But I mean, by the way, somebody asked me a question here. If it's okay that I answer it, somebody asked
Please.
a question in the comments.
Please, can you put it up?
Yeah, Andrew Rios said, Rick Hughes, would you want Jameis back or not if TB retires?
I'm interested because I got feelings on this, so I'd love to hear what you're thinking.
Well, my feelings are this simple. I'm going to trust whatever Jason Light and Bruce Arians say and do, but I don't think there's a chance in hell they're going to go down that road. I think that would be a marketing nightmare for them. And so I don't even think it's a question. I don't even think it's, here's my thoughts. And I said this the other night. Now, Ray, I don't want to take all your time here. So
I appreciate you coming in here. Please, or give me time to have a sip of my beer.
A cup of Ray.
Hello.
So my thoughts are, if Brady retires, and I know everybody's screaming Rodgers or Russell Wilson or whatever. Honestly, guys, I will not be shocked at all if Teddy Bridgewater doesn't come here. That would be I'll be surprised if Bridgewater doesn't end up in Tampa.
I know you've said that before, and you were talking about that before we found out that door number 2, happened to have a goat standing behind it.
Yeah.
And I agreed 100% because Bridgewater is a cerebral quarterback. He's a thinker. He's the kind of quarterback that's will stand in the pocket but has a phenomenal arm. In fact, some would probably pose a better arm than Tom Brady as far as getting that way. Although Tom really that's the thing that's so perplexing about this whole thing, though, Rick, is that you say, okay, it's great to go out on top. And I hope, I figure, I've still got a 10 and a 13-year-old at home, and I've got 17 mortgages. So I'm not going to go out. The only thing I'm going to go out on top of is my whatever, my blood pressure. But Tom would like to go on top. But I thought, especially when I saw that next season, the Bucs will be hosting the Chiefs and hosting the Rams and hosting the Bengals, and then going out to Frisco, and then Tom over 5,000 yards and the phenomenal year he had. And boy, you want to talk about conspiracies.
No.
If Tom does announce in the next couple of days he's retiring, then he's got to win that MVP. I mean, you can't give it to Aaron Rodgers.
Already done. The
voting's
already done.
Well, is it though, Rick? Yes, it is. But I mean, at the end of the day,
that's not gonna happen. But here's the deal. When I look at Bridgewater, here's the thing, guys. Remember Carson Palmer before Arians got a hold of him? Everybody's looking at Bridgewater and going, no. Just remember Carson Palmer before Arians got a hold of him. Okay.
Yes.
Look, and I'm not saying he's the answer. I don't think Russell Wilson is the answer. You just need somebody who's really accurate and very disciplined.
Yes.
That's not Jameis, guys. So just stop.
Yeah, here's the thing. I said this. This is my problem. Just like I can go back and say Trent Dilfer could never throw a screen pass if his family were if the family were tilting on a mountainside and it depended on him throwing a screen pass. I can tell you that I knew from early on. Of course, we didn't
Yeah.
realize this when Jameis won the Heisman and took the Seminoles to a world national championship.
Yeah.
But I knew early on that Jameis was never going to be a pre-snap read quarterback. And it's
Right.
not that, I mean, the kid, you can go back and say at Bessemer, Alabama, he was the offensive coordinator of his high school team. He still has, I think, one of the best arms, one of the top 10 arms at this point in the National Football League. But the Bruce Arians offense relies on a quarterback to make the pre-snap read and know where he's going with the ball. And then you can risk it. But you got to at least have an idea where you're going to risk it to.
If you want to stir up some conspiracy, you want to stir up some of that stuff, let's start talking about Andrew Luck. But
God,
we can stir that up. Let's get everybody going on that. But listen, I mean, Johnny, you're right. You're right. Bridgewater has never run an offense like this. Who has? Brady hadn't run an offense like this before he came here. Carson Palmer didn't run an offense like this before he went there. No, I mean that you don't run a Bruce Arians offense until you run a Bruce Arians offense. So yeah, Johnny, I don't think that works. I agree with some of the rest of what you said here, but
where's that?
Trask will be fine. I don't think Trask is. I don't think Trask is in their immediate plans. Okay, I think if it came down to it, I think Blaine Gabbert would be the quarterback.
I got to tell you because the fact of the matter is, Tom said it. It took him till we know this. It took him till after the bye week 12 of last season. Of course, then they go on the 4-game undefeated streak to end the season, and the 4 games to win Super Bowl 55. And Tom said, and he's not gonna sugarcoat it when he says it was like speaking one language your entire life, which is the language he spoke under Josh McDaniels or back under in the offensive system with the New England Patriots, and all of a sudden you're learning a completely new language. And I just completed again for the 3rd time reading A Season in the Sun. Of course, great book. If y'all haven't read it yet, Ian Anderson did a great job on this book talking about the 2021 or 2020 Super Bowl championship season. And Tom talks about that. And here's the thing. If Tom makes the announcement now and the Bucs are able to sign someone and they get a 2 or 3 month head start, it's not because Tom can also talk about the fact that it was a pandemic year where they had no preseason, they had limited camp, everything was socially distanced, and it even made it harder. But I still think there's not a quarterback. There's very few quarterbacks out there who can come in and learn this system in 1 year. That's why Blaine Gabbert's my favorite.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. And
if Tom's not here,
and that could be a 1-season patch. I think look at our schedule next year, guys.
It's a hard schedule, brother.
I mean, Brady may be looking at this. This may be it. Brady may look at the schedule for next year and go, "I'm out."
Is he maybe he's getting soft in his old age. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he feels bad that he can't tell Donovan Smith, look. It looks like maybe your best ability was your availability of the way he got burned in that NFC divisional playoff game last weekend.
Burned by him though, by that guy. I mean,
yes.
The other games, Donovan Smith did not get burned by Aaron Donald.
No. He held up. He really did, and it was because of the week.
He had problems, and there was already a missing offensive lineman. So everybody's
Tristan Wirfs, yes,
right. Everybody's trying to cover for Tristan Wirfs. And you're leaving him out on an island with some badass defensive players coming at him. So yeah, he didn't look so good that game. I think it's going to be more of. I think Brady may be looking and going, all right, we're losing a lot of players. Look at the schedule next year. Maybe I'm out. And just to throw this out there, what if Brady pops his head back in a year or two somewhere else?
Well, let me tell you something. Let me put this out there though right now. If it is that schedule, and it's a hard schedule, but there's not another team in this football league, because even though people want to talk about the fact that the Bucs, Jason Light had to move a couple of magic shells around to get the Dominic and Sue back and to make sure we retain so-and-so, he's still got so many players to have team-friendly deals, which, again, won't happen in 2022. But, hey, as much as I'm thankful at Tom Brady for what he did for this team, if it's not, and I hope he comes out and he says this, if it does, again, if you're just joining us, Jason Luckenfor of CBS Sports reports that maybe Tom Brady's retirement announcement is imminent, maybe within the next 2 days. But if it's because because Jason Light, I truly believed with the salary cap going back to 208, 212 million this season, which by the way, the NFL, Roger Goodell, that was kind of BS in the first place. Oh, there's a pandemic. We've got to bring the cap back while we're also getting into bed with legalized gambling and pulling in millions, and also still getting those television contracts, going through a collective bargaining agreement. I never agreed with that. How the hell are you going to tell me you're losing money? The NFL doesn't lose money.
They are so good. The owners of the NFL are, I mean, but that's why the league works, though.
Right.
Honestly, that's why the league works. It's just they
Hey, the fact that Daniel Snyder still owns the Washington football team goes to show you to what lengths they can go. But I said this again, like I said earlier before this season started, that obviously if Tom would have been able to go, or if the Bucs would have been able to go undefeated and drop Super Bowl 56, of course they got eliminated last week against the Los Angeles Rams. I said that would be for sure. But all the arrows for me going into this last season was Tom was getting to a place where he realized Giselle and the kids and the family and Jack, they're in New York with Bridget Moynihan, of course, Jack's mom. They put up enough because Tom don't do it halfway. It's all in or nothing. And I thought that he was at a place spiritually. I started seeing a lot of hints that were telling me that this guy's going to, because I'm a father of three myself, and I know I would quit any one of my 17 jobs tomorrow if I could spend more time with my kids, because they grow up way too fast. And you know what? You could talk about legacies and playing again, but Tom's got 7 rings and all the accolades that cat's got, the greatest of all time. You don't get that time back with the kids. So anyway, I'm just running. I don't want to keep you in here, Rick. I can't tell you how much. I hope you can stay, but I don't want to keep you if you have to go.
I mean, I'm good right now. I'm good.
You want to do a couple of these comments real quick? I mean,
sure.
Okay, so Michael Colwell says, even if he does, it's not the end of Tampa Bay. We will find another quarterback. But we all know he won't be as good as Brady. It's going to take a minute.
Got to recognize that and stop the whole. We're still going to hear about Winston.
I know. I got to tell you, I told you I had Jameis. I don't think Jameis's family would allow him to come back. I don't think Brienne. I don't think anyone in Jameis's family would allow him to come back. And we've heard that this week because. Yeah, no, I don't want to go there. Winfred Bethune says he will be back, but problem is when Dallas was moving the ball, win their playoff game, the official stopped the game, and when the Rams did the official,
he did. Yes, he did. Apparently, he long before that clip ever was shown. When you guys see that clip, you see the player, all the Rams run up to the line. The official had already spotted the ball.
Right, and Rick, let's go ahead and I'm glad this comment was in here. It was the back judge, not the front referee, which in this case, the front referee would have been that idiot, Hockley. But if you go back and because I saw the clip that we all put out there, or we didn't put out there. Excuse me, God, this beer on a Friday night. But I saw the clip out there, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Especially after that. But if you go back and I had the game recorded, like I do all of them, because I break them down, even post game, because I want to see what went wrong or what happened. And the back judge touched the ball and then got the hell out of the way as the Rams came forward. So there was nothing nefarious there. But for a minute there, I got in there too. Winfred, I was in there too. So I'm not going to throw you under the bus on that one.
When people posted the clip, it was like, hey, wait a minute. Not right. All you got to do is just before you freak out about it and think, oh no, we got ripped off, because everybody loves that stuff, the conspiracy stuff. Everybody loves that stuff. Hold on, find out the truth. That's why I say this about Brady. My same mentality. All right, hold on. Let's wait and get some facts in here. Lockenfora does have a history of messing up and getting some things wrong. Just Google search. Jason, what has Jason Lockenfora gotten wrong? And you'll have some fun. Hey, look, he may have this right. He may absolutely have this right. We don't know yet. But the one thing he's got, this is literally it. I'm going to say it again, guys. Jason Lockenfora has said one thing.
Right.
A decision is coming. It's imminent. And the people around him say, are saying they think he's going to retire. So
yes.
Nobody has heard Brady say he's going to retire.
I had a few comments in here. Again, if you're just joining us, I see the numbers popping up and down. If you're just joining us here on a Friday night, of course, you know what? I I got someone else in here. I hope he's ready to come in here.
Yahoo!
I want to bring this cat in here because you gave him some props. And hey, this is the first time in the history of Bucks Report and Cup of Ray that I've had you two join my show.
This is awesome.
Bringing in here right now on a Friday night Cup of Ray, Mr. Dave Whitescarver. Dave, how are you, brother?
What's going on, man? It's Friday night. What's the problem?
So you've heard the news. You've heard Jason Lookinfor of CBS News or CBS Sports is reporting that the Tom Brady's retirement announcement is imminent. So, Dave, what's been your reaction, or what have you heard in the last hour or two?
Well, I told you guys he was going to retire, and you laughed. So there you go.
Well,
I believe I said that in public. So, Dave, it's not going to be. I said it wasn't going to be a football decision. People were saying he signed that extra year. It was irrelevant. Tom Brady, it's an emotional decision. It might have been he woke up one day and said, "I'm done," and you don't have to put a finger on it. People want to make it logical. If he's on your team, especially, you want him to play forever. But he is but a man, and he has a family, and he has other interests. And I mean, one sport you have to have in your gut is football. And if you wake up one day and it's not there, well, that's time to him up.
Great point, and then we kind of heard it when the season we saw Giselle on the field moments after the Bucks locked down Super Bowl 55, and she walks up to him, and of course the famous soundbite is, "What else do you have to prove?" And the sacrifice, because Tom doesn't do it halfway; he's all in 100%. So I can only imagine from June. It's a year-round job anymore. Football is a 24/7 sport, 365, but from June through when he's licking his chop or licking his wounds after whatever it ends up being the last game of the year, Tom's not available. And I'm sure at some point the family is like, Dad, we're so glad that you're the greatest of all time, which you already are. But, we're growing up fast, and Giselle's like, the kids are going to be out of the house before you know it, and you don't get that time back.
And I think Jack is
old. This is a little awkward.
It's like 15.
We have a viewer named Rick Hughes.
Oh my God!
What's funny?
There's a David Whitescarver out there. There's a David S. Whitescarver out there. I found him on Facebook. It's a little odd.
Yes.
But if you got a Whitescarver out there, well, there's got to be a few Hughes's out there too. So.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Hughes watching right now and commenting. I'm a little creeped out.
Well, you know what pisses me off. There's a Ray Kennedy out there, but he's like a very mid-level famous country music singer. So he's already locked down all the Twitters, all the YouTube video handles, all the Facebook. I mean, my entire online cyber life has been following his country music, and I've yet to listen to one of his songs. I might do that tonight.
There's probably some European rocker named Rick Hughes, and there's also, this is awesome. There's a mayor somewhere in Alaska whose name is Rick Hughes, and I always when I Google it. It says, "Vote for Rick Hughes." I see it all the time. I'm like,
don't do that.
Don't do that. You know what, guys? I'm going to say this right now because we still have a few people in here watching the show. Hope you guys are enjoying a little couple right here on a Friday night. But just getting you guys coming in here on a Friday night is already made my day. We can talk. But I wanted to say this, Rick, because you talked about this, and Dave, you kind of went toward this. Is that it's like baseball season. The pitchers and catchers are reporting here as the winds are starting to really push out of the north here. I know you guys have already felt this already, but we're really, maybe you haven't, Dave, but I'm starting to feel that northerly breeze turning, of course, that big nor'easter this weekend. But with pitchers and catchers reporting just in a couple of weeks for baseball, and every year it's always, who's going to, does the team got a shot? Are we going to do it this year? We got these young rookies, these young developed players and all. And as Buccaneer fans, for just basically almost all of our existence, it's always next year. But here's the thing, guys and girls. The cupboard's not bare. We didn't give away 2 2s and 2 1s to get a coach or a quarterback in Tom Brady to try to win a championship. Jason
like
the Rams, basically. And the Rams, I'll tell you what, Dave, if the Rams don't win on Sunday, this may be the implosion of the Los Angeles Rams for the next half a decade because they've literally mortgaged the entire future.
They put all their chips in on this year, and more power to them. It's worked out so far, but you better come away with the win against the Niners, and you haven't done that in 7 games.
Right, and the Niners just beat them. And I mean, it's all about matchups, though, Rick. Right? It's matchups.
Absolutely.
Because the Bucks, the reason why the Saints have our number in the regular season is, and the Rams had our number twice and beat us again last weekend, is because it's all about matchups, and the teams match up well against the Bucks.
Yeah. And as strange as it is, well, look, we don't know who's gonna. We have no idea right now. This is the crazy part. We have no idea what this team's gonna look like next year. I mean,
We don't have an idea who
we
the
have no
quarterback's going to
idea.
be, but I think they've had I think we're starting to see they've had contingency plans all along. They probably had discussion with Brady before he even came on board that it's in place. He's going to quit when he wants to, and they're planning on it. And I wouldn't be surprised to go out to try to get a big time free agent or a Teddy Bridgewater, which I like the sign of after we went through all the options the other night.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and the Denver Broncos proved they didn't appreciate the fact that he was there, and of course they go out and they get their head coach, and they're going to probably go in a new direction. Although that remains to be seen. Maybe we end up with the Sam Darnold. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But
what I don't understand is why these college coaches, NFL keeps giving college coaches opportunities when the clear majority do not do well, Urban Meyer, at all. But they still keep giving college coaches. It's like Kingsbury in Arizona, he didn't even have a winning record in college, and it's like, here, take the keys to the Cardinals. Yeah. So that worked out kind of there to a certain degree, but most of them, the college coaches, it's too different. The skill set's dramatically different.
They're trying very hard to emulate what's happening in LA. They're trying to get the young, sexy coach. They're trying to go that direction, and it's not going to work out. But I mean, guys, our schedule next year is brutal. We don't know what the team's even going to look like. Next year looks, if Tom Brady retires, players are that we're on, maybe I'm going to retire, maybe I'm not. It's going to impact their decisions. Okay.
Well, let me ask you. Well, Dave, I was going to say, well, let me ask Dave this, because again, Rick, you posted it, and then Dave actually came in and backed it up, which, Dave, thanks again for joining us here for a cup of Ray.
I'm thrilled. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. It's a cup of Ray, and you actually joined me. But so, Dave, you actually have been the one that, you talked about this just last Sunday after the post game show here on Bucks Report that, you thought this was Tom Brady's last game, or this was probably his last game. What led you to believe that? Because as Jason Lockenfora of CBS News is reporting tonight, it may be imminent in the next 2 days. There'll be an announcement on this. What made Dave Weitzcarver kind of believe that would be the case?
Well, some of it is I like being a contrarian.
That's what he told me. That's what he told me right after the show.
But also,
right after the show, he goes, "Yeah, the reason I said that, I just kind of wanted to say something different than what y'all were saying."
But I mean, there is truth. There was some substance to it as well, and that's it. Everybody was sitting here and trying to be logical about it. They were saying he signed that third year, he honors his commitments, et cetera, et cetera. It was football related, and he wants to get back at the Rams, and he likes to get revenge. And it has nothing to do with football. When you make a decision to retire after playing more than 20 years in any professional sport, especially football, it has nothing to do with the football. It has everything to do with your family, your personal situation. It just has to do with your gut. I mean, football is such a commitment, especially to play quarterback. There's no other greater commitment to play a position in a sport than quarterback in the National Football League. And when you do that, it's taxing. And someday you're going to wake up and say, I just don't want to do this anymore. And that was kind of my contrarian bent, is that it's not based on contract. It's not based on honor. It's based on your gut. It's based on what's going on inside you and what's going on inside your family. And I thought, what's left? I mean, he already peaked at Tampa. I mean, you already won the Super Bowl in year one, and you won 13 games. I mean, what's left?
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, Colin Cowherd, and by the way, guys, Colin Cowherd, you guys know he kind of broke the news, didn't he? With Brady coming here. Oh, we lost Ray.
Yeah,
8 hours ago, Cowherd posted, hearing things, peace. So I don't know. I don't know if that means anything or not, but who knows? But I look, here's the thing. We got to be prepared, guys. Look, if you've been a fan for the last couple of years, all I can say is this: even if Brady walks away, if you've been a fan for the last couple of years, stick around. Maybe it's going to be a little rough for a little while. But instead of, because if Brady's not going somewhere else, you got to find somewhere to go. Why don't you just hang around with us for a little while? You're welcome here. And let's play around. Let's watch some football. Might be a little rough. We've already seen what a team looks like the year after Brady leaves. We may have a rough patch. That's okay. It looks like, I don't know, maybe we're losing coordinators, maybe we're not. I don't even know about that. The thing is, guys, right now, what we woke up the day after the Buccaneers lost, we didn't know what was going to happen. Right now, we know nothing more. Nobody has retired. Nobody has gotten hired. Nothing has happened.
Well, and let's put this out there. Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Okay, because I had to move. Well, the wind is coming so hard out of the north. You guys know it's going to be like below 50 here in Florida, which is like
the
dead of winter.
It's supposed to be 31
3 inches of snow tonight. I don't want to hear it.
So, Dave, you can back me up. We're getting some. No,
it's supposed to be 31 degrees here. It's supposed to be
not.
freezing.
It's not Carolina cold.
Florida. Snow means something entirely different.
Now, let's pose this, since we have quite a few followers still watching here. Again, if you're just joining us, I got to cover it. Jason Luckenfor of CBS Sports is reporting that the retirement of Tom Brady, the announcement at least, may be imminent. What if it's a year from now? What if it's the end of 2022 and the Bucs went out and, because some people were like, well, you mortgage the future to give the GOAT one more shot. So you oversign players, you bring in free agents, you forget the cap. You sign everyone to a $1 million contract with a $75 million incentive bonus that goes or a signing bonus that you can put over to 3 years. So, and then God forbid, but Tom strains his hammy in the first game because he's 82 years old now, so maybe he hurts himself. But what if you're looking at a Buccaneers team who not just made it to the divisional round of the playoffs, in a division like the NFC South, which is still a very winnable division because you've got the Falcons are rebuilding, you got who knows what Matt Rule and those Panthers are doing, and now you've got Sean Payton leaving those Saints, and who knows what their quarterback. I don't think they have a quarterback. They probably
silence. Thank you. He left.
Yeah. There you go. But, so
cheer, silence. Sean Payton's gone, woohoo!
Woo! And, so one would argue that if this does come to fruition and Tom announces in the next couple of days, which we, again, as Buccaneer fans, you got to love this cat, what he brought to this team the last 2 years and the cultural change. But he announces, hey, I'm going to be there for my kids. Tom's going to make, of course, we already know that Giselle makes more money than Tom will ever have made in the National Football League. And now he's got that production company. He's got enough of a production that he could probably roll out Man in the Arena for the next decade.
He's got a fashion line.
A fashion line and a brand and a health brand. But let's be honest. I mean, the Buccaneers could be sitting here. It could be the end of 2023. It could be 2022 going into 2023. We could be in cap hell and still be where we're at with Tom announcing retirement. And then you talk about Katie bar the door, the sky is falling. So at the end of the day, if this does come to fruition, maybe it's not the worst thing for Buccaneer fan.
Well, yes, it is. Come on. I love the optimism, right? Come on.
I'm always optimistic.
The best quarterback ever just retired. Yes, it's not good. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this.
Let me finish. Let me say this real quick, Dave. Then take it. I want to finish this because I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking right now we're at that stage where the really good-looking girl that we've had this awesome time with, you're hearing maybe she's going to break up with you.
Been there.
Okay, and you've got all those feelings of, but why does she like somebody else? Is there, why is she leaving? What's the, you got all kinds of things going on in your head, and there's, and you're gonna be sad. You're gonna feel horrible. Some people are gonna be mad. Some people are whatever. Just like when every relationship ends. But always, after you have that girl, you're always going to have moments that you can look back on and smile and go, that was awesome. And that's what we're going to have with Brady.
It's 10 o'clock, Rick, so I can say this. You're talking spank bank, aren't you? Okay. Come on, Dave. Back me up on this. Look at Dave. He's so mature.
From a football standpoint.
Don't worry about it.
From a football point, it's been like porn for the last 2 years, okay?
Brother, let me tell you something. We won this. Yes, whatever. we talk about We were the team that Jason Light had put together, and we were at a place in time where the greatest of all time looked at us, and it matched. And door number 2 had Tom Brady behind it, and he came in here and then dropped the freaking mic. We win the Super Bowl, 56, 55, and you don't take that. Talk about the things. Now, both of you guys agree Tom Brady's in the Buccaneer Ring of Honor, without a doubt, right?
Yes.
But they don't. They don't retire number 12 though.
No, they haven't retired any numbers, have they?
I don't think.
You know, they haven't. You're right. Even 63, which I never.
If you're gonna retire anybody, it's still Leroy. But
yeah.
Well, you know, they couldn't get it the number 93 on Ndamukong Suh fast enough once Gerald McCoy left here, but that's another story for another day.
Here, you like this one, right?
He never did anything. I don't know who you're talking about.
Hey guys, do you got a moment so we can run through these comments?
Yeah.
Sure.
I know it's getting late here, but I appreciate y'all coming in here again. Let's see here.
If you got to go, and then I'll hang around for a couple minutes if it's okay. If you got to run.
Really, Rick? I mean, yeah. I mean, not that I like to leave
for a few minutes,
brother. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it because what I'm doing is this next band's coming on stage right now, and it's going to get really, really loud here. So and my screen is blowing. But again, Rick and Dave, thanks for joining me. This has been a most pleasurable part of my evening. Even though now that I've said spank bank, I'm going to go home and think about that 55.
Like, you should be taking your own advice, buddy.
I'm gonna finish my highlight watching this band. But Rick, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking it home for me, brother.
Brother, thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
thanks for letting me come on, Rick. And you know what I'm talking about. Dave, it's good to see you, and I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely.
See you guys.
Thrilled to be on the Cup of Ray.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay. So now what do we want to do to totally sabotage Ray's show?
We're on it already.
it's automatically sabotaged. No, look, guys, my thought is this. It sounds like, according to Jason La Canfora, this is as clear as I can be. According to Jason La Canfora, it sounds like he's probably going to retire. Okay. According to one guy who's talked to people who are near the guy, he's hearing that he thinks there's probably a decision imminent soon. And he's hearing he's probably going to retire. That's the information that we have. Okay. It's right now. I can only tell you this. I don't know any more right now than I did earlier. It's just right now, Jason La Canfora managed to get his name mentioned how many times tonight here on this show. Good job, Jason. And because even if Brady says, I'm not retiring, Jason La Canfora can say, I was right. He was going to make a decision. And the people around him were saying they thought he was going to retire. So there's literally nothing that can happen. You could point out and say he was wrong. He hedged his bets, perfectly well. And this is where we're at. I mean, that's, yeah. I mean, right now there's
not like the Bucs aren't saying we have a news conference tomorrow at 10 or anything like that. So there's no Tom Brady having a Subway press conference or something like that, announcing his retirement or anything of that nature. So, we go on with our very cold Saturday mornings and Friday nights here in Central Florida.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens. So, onward we go. We'll see. I am looking that, it does say John Ledyard I think he's from the Draft Network, says Brady coming back just to put another dent in Jason La Canfora's track record would be the chef's kiss. Yeah, it would be beautiful. Look, we don't know what's about to happen. He's probably going. Yes, thank you, Johnny. Thank you for the update. Thank you, Johnny. Breaking news. Tom Brady just decided. Wait, we should do this right. If we're going to do breaking news. No, never mind. It was too late. I was going to do the breaking news way, the correct way. You should have breaking news music, but I don't have my soundboard because it wasn't my show. I don't have it booted up and turned on. But breaking news, guys, Tom Brady just decided to take a dump in their East Wing upper lavatory. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Level.
Or level toilet.
Upper level.
Level toilet. I don't know. I'm not sure what that was. Better than the unlevel toilet, I'm guessing. So yes, here we go. That was breaking news. We don't know anything.
But a rumor has surfaced.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. The rumor has surfaced. So look, we may get a rumor tomorrow saying, no, none of that's true. And then you get another rumor saying the opposite. We'll find out over the next few days. But the thing is, it is interesting. If Brady leaves, guys, we have to recognize this team is going to look radically different. Okay. You're going to lose free agents. You're going to lose guys who are thinking about retiring and not sure what to do. We're going to make one more run at it. Brady's gone. See you.
What do you think? What's your opinion, Rick, about Chris Godwin and his free agency? Do you think that has an impact on? I mean, he loves Tampa, so he says. Do you think that matters to him?
Well, what they're saying is that he is that the Bucks. What I read today. Now, again, guys, it's all talk.
I got a source.
What I read today is that the Bucks are hardcore hell bent on re-signing Chris Godwin. So yeah, we'll see if that becomes the case. That what I read was that he is basically Levante David is the leader of the defense, and Chris Godwin has become a leader of the offense, and they want him back. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Alan Schomber says it has to be a slow media day because every day it's always something new about Brady and Gronk.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
Gronk would have said no.
Alec.
Gronk would say no to coming back. That was a Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, that was
article.
yesterday. If pressed today, I would not be shocked at all if Brady and Gronk aren't sitting in the back, doing their what were the guys? I was telling them retiring. Doing the
On Tuesday we'll say yes. On Thursday we'll say no, and on Friday we'll say no.
Wouldn't shock me at all.
Let's flip a coin to see what we do on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me in the least. And by the way, James Canada, thanks for joining us. I saw you out there in the question about, do we think Brady's going to retire? I don't think we know anything yet. I don't think we know anything yet. I think it's going to take a while. But, and here's the deal. There's I'll just say that idiot author, who, one of one, those of you who know who I'm talking about, is out there. He's saying the Bucks are secretly making overtures towards, who, making an offer, and he's going to turn it down. He's literally, you sound like it's like the girl broke up with you. Yeah, but she wanted me back. No, nobody wants freaking, I'll say it, Jameis back. That he's just not the right guy for this offense. And look, we don't know who the coordinators are going to be. We don't know who the players are going to be. We don't know anything. It's going to be a little bit of a crazier offseason than I thought. Dave, I was all excited about not coming on and taking some time off, and I didn't even get 4 days.
Well, Bruce Arians says he's coming back, but
yeah, Arians says he's going to coach until he can't.
Well, he also said he wasn't going to bring on Antonio Brown because he's too much of a diva. I just thought I'd point that out.
Well made. Point well made. Yeah, point well made.
Which he ultimately, yes, he was right. Surprise.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Buck Skull Gang saying, what about Rodgers or Russell? Right now, that's just such, crazy stuff. I mean, I think
Rodgers is more of an Arians type guy.
The receiver in Green Bay, Devontae Adams is saying he wants $30 million a year. So if he's out, got to figure Rodgers is out. Although I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, there are
That's
so
just
many
posturing.
directions.
Who knows where that'll fall?
Right. There are so many directions this thing can go in.
Antonio Brown really wants to play for the Ravens, but I haven't heard a word from the Ravens.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that I think I sent you the post. Antonio Brown agrees to sign with the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens don't agree, but
Well, I mean, apparently Lamar Jackson just doesn't have general manager written into his duties like Tom
Right.
Brady does. So
right.
doesn't seem to have the influence.
Buck Skull Gang saying, according to sources, Tom Brady retired. No, Buck Skull Gang, according to Jason LaConfora, get your facts right, buddy. According to Jason LaConfora of CBS Sports, he's the only one that's talking about this, okay? Except for people who read his post and then go on and say, I've got sources. But Jason LaConfora literally said the following. Let's recap, guys. I want to make sure everybody gets their mind wrapped around this, okay? Jason LaConfora flat out said the following. People close to Tom Brady think he's going to retire and that a decision is imminent, like in the next couple of days. Jason LaConfora hasn't talked to Brady. Nobody has talked to Brady. This is not anybody coming out and saying, I heard Brady say, or that nobody's insinuating they've talked to Brady. Literally, it's he's going to make a decision in the next couple of days, and people near him think he's going to retire. That's it. That's it. Okay? So maybe he is. I will tell you, after looking at next year's schedule, I wouldn't blame him. Okay? Knowing that we got free agents that we're going to lose and looking at next year's schedule, I wouldn't blame him if he looked at him and, yeah, I got to go. You know? I mean, next year's going to be a tough year. And we'd probably still win the division. We'd make the playoffs. But it ain't going to be like this year, and it ain't going to be like last year. And whether Brady wants to do that or not, you know, who knows? But anyway, the point of the matter, we don't know yet. All right. Breaking news. Nothing has happened yet.
But it might. It could.
But yes, not yet. But it might. That's literally, here you go. That's let's bring you up to date. Nothing has happened, but it might. That's where we're at. So everybody just wait. Just wait. Jason LaConfora has a decent but not great track record on things like this. He's made some big mistakes, making some proclamations that weren't true.
Well, I've done that.
We all have. We all have. So let's see what happens. But one way or the other, and I'm going to say it again, guys. I'm going to say it again to all of you out here who joined the Buccaneer, group of fans who followed the team. If Tom Brady retires, he's not going anywhere else. You don't have a home. Stay here. Stick around for a while. You're welcome here. Stick around for a while. Have a little fun with us. Might get a little rough for a bit. That's okay. That's okay. Welcome to the family. Stay a part of the family. Hang out for a while.
Play some golf.
What?
Play some golf. It's a great place. You play year round, but I wouldn't advise it in the morning here in Central Florida. It's going to be freezing.
Central Florida. We got 3 inches of snow coming. I don't want to hear it. We're not sure if we can make it to work because there may be ice. So we're
that's a different ball game altogether.
It's 50. Don't go golfing.
Well, 31. That's freezing, right? For a little bit.
Anyway, that's our high. Anyway, guys, it's something for you to all know. Just relax, have some fun over the next few days. Take a drink, do whatever you need to do to take that edge off. And you know what? We're gonna find some sort of info soon enough. It's all gonna come out. We're all gonna find out all of it. So, the one thing I will tell you, and Dave, do you have any last words for tonight?
I think I'm just encouraged, regardless of what happens with Brady or Gronk or anything else. The culture of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has changed in the last 2 years, and I think there's going to be a sustainability to that. I think that they've been thinking about it before it even started with Brady on how he will exit, and I'm sure they agreed with no problem whatsoever. It'll be on his own terms, and it will be, whether it's tomorrow, before next season, after next season, or whenever. It'll be taken care of. There's contingency plans in place. No, you're not going to be as happy with Brady as you are with the next quarterback, but they're going to go do what the best for the organization. I think Chris Godwin's going to be coming back. You got the bulk of the defense coming back. JPP may retire. He's getting long in the tooth. I mean, heck, he lost his first playoff game last week, and that thing he did a whole career, and that's the first time he lost a playoff game.
Yep.
So things will be okay. We probably hit peak Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season. But this year was a fun ride, 13 wins. And I think we're going to be the class of our division for the next few years. And I am very confident with the decision makers in Tampa. And I think things are going to be very entertaining and looking up regardless of what happens. I mean,
Dave, you said it perfectly. Buccaneers fans should have 2 words to say.
If Brady really retires, there's 2 words to say, and only 2. Thank you.
That's exactly right.
Thank you for coming to Tampa. Thank you for changing the entire culture. Thank you for taking a group of guys who were very talented and taught them how to win. And thank you for teaching our organization how to win again. And thanks. And
wow. That's actually
all the best to you, buddy. Thank you so much.
That's a whole great way to wrap that up, Dave. That is fantastic. Thank you for teaching us how to win again. That's my takeaway. So guys, cheer up. It's okay. Now let's go see what happens next. And win or lose or struggle or have a great season or surprise us all and whatever. Who knows? There's only 3 things I like to say. Go Bucks. Go Bucks.